Hello everyone and welcome back to Salmon Bay. In the last episode, we started out a new city and built it up to profitability. In this episode, we're going to slow down and focus more on targeted builds that will make Salmon Bay feel a little more special. We're going to tackle two things today. First, connectivity improvements to the city. Second, we're going to break ground on the Salmon Bay port complex and start our import-export shipping. For connectivity improvements, this will come in two forms. First, we have a couple of city services to place, which will help connect sims and businesses to the outside world. Second, we need a new physical connection by way of a second highway intersection. We'll need to place a post office, which I'm going to place in this empty lot right here, and we need to connect to the internet, so I'll place a radio mast back here. Both of these services should lead to greatly increased company profits, which will in turn increase your tax income. I'm putting in the small post office here with just a regular zoned office next to it. I'll also surround the lot with a retaining wall to keep the pad level and separate it from the homes behind. So before we move on, I actually do want to make an improvement right here, just a small one. I want to expand this part of Sunnyside Street here into a 4-lane road. There's so much traffic here that I think it'll warrant it. And eventually we'll probably have this whole street be 4 lanes, but for now I think we'll just do this one block leading into the roundabout. I've been thinking about this, and I realize I've made a mistake here. This red building is our fire station, and there's just no way a city would put in a big median in front of emergency services. I'll get rid of the median and remove street parking by using large sidewalks and street trees. For our highway connection, if you look at the map, we have the small highway running north-south along the lake here. Our city connects to that highway with a single small intersection, which means our entire city right now is one big cul-de-sac. This needs to be fixed. We're going to take this 4-lane road in the center of the city and expand it into our second arterial connection. This will give a north side highway connection that leads straight into the waterfront and port. I'm using the Anarchy mod here to build the highway outside of city limits. I generally don't like breaking the rules of the game, but I think it's reasonable to be able to build important highway connections like this without having to buy up all these tiles. We can say that using Anarchy here could represent the use of state or federal funding for the project. Next, I want to start building what will be the city's port. But before we start, see how we're all the way up past $6,000 an hour? We're going to need that. I'm playing with the historic start mod, so we do have access to a few basic shipping options without spending development points. Unfortunately, the deep water port is massive and very expensive, so we won't be able to get that going right away, even though what the city wants to be is a safe deep water port. Instead, I'm going to put a train cargo terminal in the spot that the ship terminal will go, and in the future, we'll replace it with a combined ship-rail terminal. That is, once Salmon Bay can afford a large harbor. So the port's going to go in this spot right here, so we're going to have to buy this tile. We'll plop down the cargo train terminal here, with its rail connection going out the right side, over the tide flats. We don't have enough money for either this or the rail yard right now, so I'll take out another loan so we can get them placed quickly. With these rail buildings activated, you can see that our budget is once again underwater, which means it's time for some expansion. First, I want to fill in some gaps in the existing city. We have a lot of commercial demand, and there's also some cleanup I want to do in the industry zones around the port. I'll keep the rail deactivated for now to build up some cash. You'll notice that I'm leaving a good buffer around this little wetland area. I want to preserve that land because I think it looks nice, and I'm hoping to do something interesting with it in the future, like turn it into a large park. Around the rail yard, I'm building a small farm and a little industry business next to the highway. This is mostly to have something visually interesting around the rail yard. We'll take a more serious look at farming in the near future. Now for some expansion. We can't really build out on the right side here because of the air pollution. So we'll build over on the left side. Unfortunately, if we look at the terrain, there's no reason to break up the grid yet, so I'm just going to do more of the same. I'm going to run through this next part very quickly because it's very similar to the rest of downtown. I mostly used the Southwest USA apartments and mixed-use buildings along the 4-lane avenue, with some townhouses around them, and then single-family housing outside of that. There's a couple of blocks of regular commercial and a little bit of office as well. I've left a few lots open because I just wasn't sure what to do with them, and honestly, the snow makes it hard to detail. There is also a certain charm and realism to halting construction for snow. Okay, at this point, most of the city's expansion is filled in and we're making a lot of money again. Let's turn on the cargo lines, let the simulation run for a while, and see where the economy ends up balancing out. I've let this run for a while and look at that. Our budget is back in the green with plenty of surplus. With a functioning port and a bit of an expansion in place, we're going to end the episode there. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you again soon here at Salmon Bay. Good night.